Welcome to the Convention Creators Podcast, a show where we talk about conventions, creativity, and the excitement of preparing for it all.
I am PB, prepared and busy. And this week, we are in full-on prep mode for MegaCon Birmingham. This will be the biggest event we've done so far this year in terms of scale and attendance, and the excitement and stress are real.
Very, very real. I'm Jay, but not only that, PB, we're also getting ready for Absolution, the gig with Bentley Jones happening the very same weekend.
That's right, Jay. We've got a merch to prep, travel plans to finalize, we still don't have a hotel, and much more to juggle. Let's get into it. Let's just go.
Yes, we're here for another episode of the Creative Convention, the Convention Creators Podcast. We've done it for so many episodes, and I'm still getting the name wrong. Amazing. Fantastic. Oh, professional as always. And yes, as you heard from my intro, there is a lot going on. There is a lot going on in the coming week. Not only as this episode comes out, are we literally getting ready to go to the MegaCon in Milton Keynes, hosted by Striking Events. Literally this very weekend. We are prepping, indeed, at the same time for not only MegaCon, but Absolution, which is happening following weekend.
There is
going on. And to make it super fun for ourselves, MegaCon Birmingham, as you said, one of the biggest ones we'd have done this year. A lot going on, and we booked it extra late.
We did. So for those in the know, we usually have to book events not quite a year in advance, but more or less like 2 months after an event, applications start going out again. And especially with MegaCon, they are booked very well in advance. And I wasn't originally going to be returning to MegaCon Birmingham due to travel logistics and other things that we will get into. But after the success we had at MegaCon London, it kind of felt like a no-brainer. We had to do the Birmingham event. We're already in the plans of doing the Manchester event, so why not?
Yeah, exactly. And there are so many joys with booking things last minute. For example, we've managed to secure a booth with our delightful friend Rob from Printing Like Rabbits. Those of us who saw us at MegaCon London, hopefully see you again. But also, you will be aware that we were right next to each other. We were neighbours, which will be happening again.
Yes.
I guess for context, for people who don't understand how this sort of stuff works, one, how have we managed to secure like a 9x3 booth at such short notice? And two, how do we make sure that the event organisers know what our intentions are with that space?
It's interesting that you say that because many people share at conventions and the organizers never know. Of course, it's polite to say, no, they generally don't know. So when, especially when traders and artists share a space, they don't necessarily disclose it, even though it is in the terms and agreements. Many don't particularly understand why this is a term and agreement. However, just to clarify, this all has to do with insurance, because obviously every trader signs a form of contract of some form and agrees that they either are using the liability insurance of the event, which they pay for, or they have to pay for their own liability insurance, which in most cases, the venue and the organizer has to guarantee that you have your own insurance. However, the other party that is sharing with you doesn't necessarily have that.
Yeah.
And that is why organizers frown upon sharing, because if anything happens, if there is a complaint, if there is a safety issue or anything of that nature, and there isn't the right liability insurance involved, then a lot of people, but especially the person who made the booking, would get in a lot of trouble. And most people aren't aware of this. However, that said, in our case, they knew in advance that we are going to be doing a booking as a trio, really, because we are signed up as myself, Gilbone Illustrations, the Convention Creative Podcast, and Printing Like Rabbits. They know that we are coming as a group, and more or less the reason why we have this space is because we were lucky enough to get in contact with one of the staff members during the London event. We explained the situation. We explained that neither myself or Rob made a booking. Thanks to the fantastic reception that Rob has had on his Alistair video, as well as the growth of the podcast and things of that nature, he agreed that it would be good to have us at the event, and worked with us to be able to get a last-minute booth. The reason why we have a 9x3, not a 6x3, like we did in MegaCon London, is because Rob will be bringing 2 large statues this time, just he did as PowerCon. And I think from the PowerCon footage, everyone can agree that those statues cannot be fit in a regular 3x3 booth. They need a little space of their own. So negotiations were done separately for that. But yes, we're going to be there. We're going to have this 9x3 booth. We're going to have Sonic painted, Shadow painted, Alistair painted, Lucifer painted, and potentially an extra surprise. But we'll only show it when we're there.
What could be next? Yeah, it will be collectively the biggest space we've had yet. So I'm quite excited. I'm very happy that the two has-been guys get their own dedicated space, because it, like you said, PowerCon clearly worked very well. I think one thing I'm learning this year is that need to continuously evolve and grow how your setup is, because it not only needs to change with what customer demands is in terms of what products do, where you need to focus on that or the other, but also you just want to continuously elevate what you're doing. And one of the ways of doing that is how we're displaying our t-shirt.
Yes. So originally I started with the regular grid layout that everyone uses. We used to do the grid cubes and everything, and unfortunately we didn't particularly enjoy the grid. I am a little bit claustrophobic, and being behind the grid made me feel like I was in a little box, and peering through that little hole between the things just wasn't doing it for me. However, when we still used the grid, we just had maybe 6 t-shirts on hangers, and they were hung onto the grid, which was as basic as it could be, but it was the start of everything. I still had like 6-7 t-shirts at a time back then. We started small. My main sellers at the time, even though I originally come from a background of selling mostly t-shirts, at that time at conventions I mostly focused on selling pins because I had so many pins on my table. Then we moved towards the post-COVID era, and that is when we started doing the print boards. Mostly because I recall that post-COVID, Paul, who at the time was my table helper and helped me sort out all sorts of things with regarding to setup and admin, said that probably being locked up behind that cage is less helpful for my health than it does good. I probably need more air, right? And we decided to start putting t-shirts on these Corex boards, where we used to fold the t-shirts onto these boards and use Velcro to stick them to the backing walls of events. However, even though that opened up a ton of space, and thanks to that setup, I moved from taking 6 t-shirts to a total of 52 designs per event. Crazy. 52 t-shirts. However, there were a lot of conventions that didn't offer a backing wall of Velcro. And whenever that happened, I was stumped. I just didn't know
what'd you
what to
do? Yeah.
do. Because my entire setup now revolved without having this grid wall. So what could I attach them to? So long story short, last year, a very good friend of mine, Kimmy Sparks, was displaying her t-shirts how I am doing now using the rail, hooks, and hangers. And again, all well and good, looks amazing. But when it comes to using that method onto Velcro walls, for some reason the t-shirts just don't hook at the top of the wall, and the hook just slides off. How many times we end up going into the convention hall in the morning and half of the t-shirts are on the floor
Yeah.
because either the Velcro came off, the garment is a little bit too heavy for the hook that we have. It's just an inconvenience, and they don't always look very neat. So, like he said, it's always a process of trying to refine, evolve, making it easier on ourselves, but more importantly, making it look appealing in a way that people get it right away, they're attracted to it, it looks neat, it looks tidy, and all that good stuff. That is when I accidentally stumbled on this website, which was Shirt Display UK, and this gentleman created the Shirt Hero, that is essentially a plastic bar with a latch-on extension to it that you can commander glue onto your wall. And they particularly market it for sports t-shirts, like gear kits and things of that nature. However, I thought that if I change the command strips into Velcro, then I can hook those to the wall and have the same look that I do when I use the rail at smaller events. However, since they are smaller in size than a coat hanger, it allows me to fold the sleeves in a little bit more, and it looks even tidier. Now, granted, I don't know how they look yet because I don't have a Velcro wall at home to test them on, but we've bought these things. They look good. I'm very excited for them. I'm very happy with Mike, our contact at Shirt Displays. They were very cordial, very kind. And we're going to debut them at MegaCon Birmingham to see how they fit.
I think one of the things you mentioned to me before about that original, the grid display of the t-shirts, which I think is an interesting piece of feedback, was that a lot of people didn't necessarily recognize that they were t-shirts straight away, which was the first reason that you moved along, was that people would look at them and then maybe not necessarily understand, oh, that's actually a t-shirt, and that's why you started presenting them as t-shirts, you know?
Yes, that was when I had them on the Corex boards, because it only showed the print on a square. Right? A lot of people would ask, oh, are those tote bags? Are they canvas prints? And it's quite funny that we would have customers in front of us, and I always used to wear my own t-shirts as well as my helpers did. They always wore something that appertained to my stand as a way of promotion. And it's quite funny, you'd hear customers murmuring, like, I see the prints and I see the canvas prints, but I don't see the t-shirts, but he's wearing one. Does he have t-shirts? And I'm like, all those 52 things are all t-shirts. But there's only so many times that you can stop and explain a product to a customer. You need people to see the thing, get it right away, and not have to do the explanation.
Yeah. It's interesting because I guess you got to find that balance of what communicates well, what looks nice as well. And my advice, and this isn't just like artist advice, this is like anyone who's from my old retail fam will relate, is look at your setup and does it look good, but also don't just look at it, stand and stare at it and be like, okay, also imagine it. This is merely from like a more business perspective of, think of it from the point of view as the customer, in which case they're going to be walking by it and glaring at it as it moves past them. What can they read in that 5 seconds? So if they can't read t-shirts, think about that. Because if they see it very obviously, oh, this person sells t-shirts and I want a t-shirt, I'll stop. But if don't assume that they're going to stand and stare and properly inspect your table. A lot of people
Exactly that.
do, but a lot of people will just be looking around, and it's so overwhelming. They're going to be looking at your table while also looking at the 4 tables on the side of you. Like, it's just a lot going on. So it's like, what can you clearly communicate in that brief window you get to engage with a customer?
So
Very,
true.
very much do that. So why? Let's say this is a big success and we love how it looks and we think
Yeah.
this is great, this is fantastic, we love how these t-shirt the t-shirt shirt hero runs work, and we don't rest on our laurels and go, okay, we fixed it now, we won't ever review it again. We will always come back to it and go, does this still work? Do we need to change? Even if it's going well, why is it important to, even if you feel like your setup works, why is it important to always keep re-reviewing and going back and seeing where you can evolve in your layout?
I would say that with the exception of one person who I have in mind right in this moment, which who I mention every episode more or less, was my friend Jazz from Magical Maidens. They have found their footing in how they display their pins and their charms. It's worked for them for the last couple of years now. And it works. Don't fix it. No, if it's not broken, don't fix it. However, all of the other major artists and major names at conventions, you always see them constantly evolving, constantly changing, constantly moving things around, moving product to the front, moving another product to the back. See where your bestseller should be placed. See if that product that isn't selling, if you raise it up higher, if you move it to the front, if you allow people to touch it, is it going to sell better? Is it just a dead product, you know? That is why we're constantly evolving and changing how our tables work. Because the moment you become complacent and stagnant, unless you have the optimal layout, which Magical Maiden's table, 1 in a million. Unless you find that, then it's always good to keep trying little bits and so on and so forth. Now, I haven't really done any major changes to my table since post lockdown, and I think it's time that I properly fine tune what I have. There's a few elements that I would like to spray paint to make the look a little bit more cohesive. I just want to brand myself a little bit better at the event. And while I'm in that process, I just plan on, like I said, play around with a few bits, moving stuff around, try and create a little bit more elevation without blocking the t-shirts on the back, and see what works. Maybe sales will be better. You never know.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We're not saying, oh, you need to completely start from scratch every so often. Like, it's more about just picking, fine-tuning things, evolving little aspects of your stuff. Because I also think that it does help if you have a regular fan base or clientele who like are frequent customers of yours and will usually spot you out in each con. Just by having something that just people will see the same thing again and again and again, and so much so they almost become blind to it because they it's familiar with them. You change one thing and their brain's like, I don't recognize that. And it can be the simplest thing, but it engages their brain to be like, why is that different? And it worked at MegaCon in a more extravagant way because people who may be familiar with like the stall that you have would be like, there's a massive Sonic and Shadow on it. What's going on? I have to find
What is
out.
it?
Little things like that. And I'm sure when you went from like the grid layout to the layout you used previously, just something about that would have visually signified something in people's brain to be like, oh, something's different to what I'm used to. I will go find out what that is. And then
I will
hopefully
say
they
that
spend all their money. Maybe.
I will say that initially when I did make that change, the majority of the comments were how people enjoyed the fact that it's a lot more open, that it is a lot less obstructive to have a conversation with the artist. It feels a lot more free. And I definitely encourage other artists to, if they can, find a way to move away from the grid wall. I know that a lot of tutorials for first timers, and this has become a meme in itself, honestly. Whenever you see a video of how to start in an artist alley, build upwards, use the grid, like, or maybe be original. You're a creative, try something different. you know,
Right,
but
it's so valid.
but that said, the fact that you are obstructing, because yes, building upwards is a wonderful thing. And then you end up finding yourself in the dilemma of how many panels am I going to make this grid so I have as much space as possible. And you end up with this tiny little window and you're hidden back there, which, if you're socially anxious, props to you. You're using that as your sword and shield, and
Yeah.
it is fantastic. But in reality, customers want to interact with you. They want to be able to freely communicate with you. And having a more open setup just helps you that much more in making it a
Exactly.
little bit more personal.
As speaking from the consumer side, do never underestimate the value of you as an artist has in part of your business. Like, yes, your art is what people are buying, but there is a sea of art that can be purchased, and you are just as equally a part of your product as your
Mm-hmm.
artwork, and
Yep.
people who can engage, converse. I've seen it at what we did at MegaCon, like the fact that people were coming because they wanted to chat and speak to you, see what you had and stuff. And we
Mm-hmm.
have a layout that encourages conversation, getting to know each other, building those relationships with customers. So
Yep.
yes, it can be. I fully appreciate it as a very overwhelming concept, and very valid that there are a lot of artists out there who are
Yeah.
like, don't want to do that. Totally get it. But when I come around with my little microphone, I want to say hi. It's poking it through your little prison window, to say hello.
A little
Um,
prison window. Our prison.
so yeah, I think always, and another thing I really like that you said in that is the fact that we are a creative family, we are creative people, and therefore we don't all have to do the same thing. Yes, there are business
Exactly.
practices that work and make sense. Do listen to those, take heed from those, but maybe use those to influence and inform what you want your thing to be. Not use it as this is the blueprint. I have to do the blueprint. There is
Mm-hmm.
no blueprint. Look around, see what works, see what doesn't, see what you want to do. And again, I see the amazing products people make. It can easily be replicated
Mm-hmm.
in creative ways in their setups as well, especially when you're dealing with more narrow spaces. I've seen some
Yeah.
interesting things. Yeah, be adventurous, be playful, and I think it will get more people's attention if it doesn't look like every other table. That would definitely get people's attention.
Very true.
So we done. We've got the statues. We've got a new way to display our shirts. What else is changing with the setup? Is anything else changing with the setup, or is it just the t-shirt?
So there's a few elements that I'm going to try and bring to MegaCon Birmingham that I kind of nearly gave up on entirely, including a little gacha machine where I sell badge buttons. The gacha machine is a token machine where people buy a token for £5 in this instance, and through the token, we put it into the machine, we turn it around, this little ball comes out, and it's going to have 3 badge buttons. In the badge buttons, at least one of them is going to be a Sonic character, and the rest are random from my entire collection. Of course, you can be lucky and you can have 2 Sonic badge buttons. You can be extremely lucky and find 3. But there is no guarantee. There's also going to be a little mix of convention creative badge buttons in there for people who want to try their luck. But essentially, the improvement in the case of this machine is that I'm actually going to make a little design graphic to go around it, where before there was only a label and that's it, and people were left to assume what is inside. You know, I may have half-assed it before, but I'm actually going to put effort into the design element of it this time, and we're going to see if this machine works. We have a fair bit of luck with our t-shirt Lucky Dip. I'm very happy with that. People always buy it and they say, oh, gotta love a Lucky Dip. So maybe a badge button Lucky Dip will actually make badges relevant at my table. And it might be the one, if it works, it will be the one lasting small purchase item at my table as I start phasing other things out.
So there are a few things coming this way to MegaCon. Right.
Yes.
Yeah. As well as,
Yeah.
got some new designs coming as well, haven't you?
I do, yes. A fair bit of them, actually. We are releasing the Werehog t-shirt in my Godzilla parody series, which is now becoming its own thing. We'll talk about that in a second. But the Werehog t-shirt is going to be available in white as intended, but not many people like wearing white t-shirts, so it will also be in black. Uh, the Godzilla parody thing is slowly evolving into an entire collection of its own. So far, we've had a Kaiju number 8 design, we've had a Dun Dun design, now we have the Werehog design, and I have a fair few other suggestions from the audience of my Instagram on what I should be working on next. Some suggestions have been Sunraku from Shangri-La Frontier. That's a favorite of mine, so definitely going that way. We've had people ask for Eggman from Sonic, the Sonic franchise. I'm on the fence about Eggman, but I'm really leaning towards doing a Metal Sonic version because then I would have Werehog and Metal Sonic in it, and I think I vibe with that.
They are two of your favorites, to be fair.
We've also had people ask for Sukuna from Jujutsu Kaisen, who you would have no idea who that is, Jay, and it's completely fine. It's fine. It's fine. We forgive you. And very excitedly, we've had the voice actress of Sailor Moon from the 90s, Linda Valentine, who is a lovely friend of mine, ask for a Sailor Moon version. And if the voice of Sailor Moon asks for a Sailor Moon design, you drop your pen, get a new canvas out, and start drawing, because that is a calling from the anime gods.
Yes, when she says do Sailor Moon, we're doing okay. I guess we're doing Sailor Moon now. We have to have it done.
We're also dropping a very funny T-shirt, which is so not on brand for me. I am known for detailed illustration designs, but we've had so many instances where I've been called a fake fan of something or another. Whether I was at Sonic with 2 t-shirts, Sonic Con with just 2 t-shirts, and like only Has Been Hotel merch. And everyone was like, fake fan. Like, facts. Okay. At the time I was, all right? Hands up. I agree. I was at the Disney Pin event, and I had only seen the classic princess movies, and I was called out by another pin trader. Fake fan. Kick him out. So I decided to make this random t-shirt where all it says on it is, in the most basic font, fake fan. And it's a little experiment for me to see if a design that took me under 5 minutes to make will sell versus designs that took me literally weeks that have been stagnant.
Will it follow the same as the social video approach where the more effort you put into something?
Who knows? Who knows? But it's going to be there. And last but not least, we are going to have the Metal Sonic design, which to date is my bestseller design this year so far. I'm going to have it in royal blue as well, same colors as Metal Sonic. So I'm curious to see if my theory of keeping all t-shirts in black stands versus having something in color. I'm curious.
Actually, so yeah, there's some little experiments happening at MegaCon to see
Yes, very
what
much so.
works. Very interesting. We also sell sweatshirts as well as a wonderful array of
Yes.
t-shirts. Um, Unfortunately, this time around, we won't be able to get a full restock in time following PowerCon. Do you want to speak a bit about on that? To everyone who's like, "Where's my sweatshirt?"
Where is my sweatshirt? When I made the order for PowerCon, actually, when I made my order for the month of March, I tried to calculate enough stock for PowerCon, for the striking event in Milton Keynes, and for MegaCon Birmingham. Little did I know that instead of selling little but of many different designs, I was just going to more or less heavily sell of specific key things,
Yeah,
and I ran out of certain t-shirts and I've run out of certain sweatshirts. Now, I've approached my t-shirt supplier. They're wonderful people. They're doing their utmost best. They can do black t-shirts on short notice because they have black garments in stock. However, to get me the stock of the colorful sweaters that I do, it's just not going to happen on time. So we had to give up on the sweaters for this one. They will be back at the next events, of course, maybe less so during the summertime because, you know, who wants to be wearing a very warm sweatshirt
I
in
was gonna say, like, do
August?
you think not having many sweatshirts as we go into spring, do you think that will actually affect the sales at MegaCon?
Who knows? I just think that people are looking at those sweatshirts as a cozy alternative for homeware, right? And the weather has been really, really unrelenting this winter.
Yeah.
It is literally 7 degrees right now here. I am wearing a sweater. It is freezing. My hands are freezing cold, and it is nearly the end of March. I think people still want the comfort and coziness of a sweater, which you are literally wearing right now. One of my sweaters, just saying. And and they're cozy, they're comfy, and it has that appeal. I will say that obviously I might not have as many sweatshirts for say MCM, for example, because that is end of May, start of summer, more or less. We're just not going to be investing in that. But I did like the idea of having them for this one. It's fine. Whatever sells now will just close my stock for until the end of the year, I suppose, for sweatshirts.
Yeah. So I wasn't prepared, I guess, because I thought, we've already done a MegaCon. It wasn't that long ago. This will just be more of the same, but no. Another convention, much different stuff to prepare for. New items, new designs, new ways of presenting things.
Always different.
Yeah, so a lot to look forward to.
Keeping in mind that MegaCon London is, in my mind, now I could be wrong, but in my mind, MegaCon London is about half the size of MegaCon Birmingham. So, of course, when you're going to their bigger event, which I do believe out of the three of them, I think the Birmingham one has the most space.
Yeah.
You have to prepare for, you know, the eventuality that it magically becomes inundated with people and there's like customers in every direction and you're just shooing them off with a broom of merch. But yeah, every every event is different and you just need to prepare for it very differently than the one before if you want to remain relevant.
One thing we certainly want to do is to remain relevant.
Please and thank you.
Sure.
My expiry date must have gone past, but I promise, it's only a use by date. It's not the best before. Yeah, wait. It's the other way around. It's the best before, not the use by date.
Wow. Right. How about while we, in our old age, work out how to stay relevant, we go for a quick break before we discuss the other thing that's
trying.
happening that same weekend.
I'm trying, all right? I'm trying. Okay, and we are back from our break. We tried our best to find a serum of youth. We failed. We're still here. And now we're talking about the Absolution gig. So, first and foremost, before we talk about the Absolution gig, Jay,
Yes.
what is the Absolution gig?
I'm so glad you asked. The Absolution gig is... I'm quite excited about this because it's a celebration of many things. One, it is a celebration of the music of Sonic the Hedgehog, which, of course, if anyone knows me, I might be slightly interested in Sonic. But it is, in fact, also celebrating 2 anniversaries. We are not only celebrating the 40th year of Bentley Jones, which to me would be very brave. I don't know if I would publicly celebrate being 40 as a concert, but fair play to him. Maybe I'll do that in a couple of years.
Probably because he doesn't look 40. But
no, he looks younger than me. The other thing, much younger than me. I should be celebrating my 50th, to be honest. But he is also celebrating his artist anniversary because he's been in the biz now for 15 years. And he celebrated it last year with, actually, I happen to have it right here. He celebrated it recently with a album which celebrating 15 years of
iconic
music. And it's called Memoriam, which is music. But so it's a celebration of all things. It's Memoriam, 15-year celebration, 40th birthday. It's literally happening the weekend of his birthday. He's actually doing it for his actual birthday.
That's amazing. Cool. So for those who are listening who aren't aware, who aren't in the know of the Sonic music and have no idea who that person on the booklet that you just flick through
is this person?
Who is Bentley Jones?
Who is he? This chap here is an artist who most of the Sonic fandom will know because he did the original theme song for Silver the Hedgehog. Now, if you're a Silver fan, you will know this song, Dreams of an Absolution. But they've gone on to do so much more in the world of Sonic. They have produced more songs like So Much More for Sonic All-Stars Racing. They've continued to be involved. They were part of a remix factory, which did a lot of remixes for Sonic games, including Shadow the Hedgehog. So they've been continuously involved in Sonic music. But beyond that, they've also just established themselves as an independent queer artist, and a very proud one at that, and has been very upfront with just celebrating their identity and their music, which is something I very much relate to and am inspired by. So they have been on a journey. They have done music in Japan. They've done a lot of music in Japan. They're currently back here. So that 15 years of music is actually quite a collection. So I think if anyone's interested in Sonic music or just interested in music from the UK scene, independent music, it's definitely something people should take interest in.
Yeah, I think so. And as far as I can remember from our original meet and me listening to your podcast when we first met, you have history with Bentley Jones and podcasting, right?
Yes, so they recently, just last year, did a full interview on another podcast I've hosted called The Opinion Zone, which if anyone just wants to hear a really informal chat with Bentley about their music career and also just their life getting into music and their creative process, I would highly recommend you listen to it. It's available wherever you just search The Opinion Zone on anywhere podcast, you'll find it. Search Bentley Jones on any podcast platform, you will definitely find it. And so yeah, I think out of all the Sonic artists, the one I found the most approachable and the most just a nice person and just a genuine person will always be Bentley. There is no poker face with Bentley. He's a very wear it on his sleeve kind of guy.
I am very much looking forward to getting to meet them a little bit better. I had the chance of meeting Bentley during setup day at SonicCon last year. We spoke for a good 10 minutes, but we didn't get to properly be introduced. I look forward to making you introduce me, basically. And I also realized that you said 2009, and we probably have listeners who weren't even born in 2009, and that makes me sad and feel like I'm going to just dust away with every breath. So, just so we don't think about that and instead think about more positive things, I heard that at this gig, there's going to be some hedgehog statues gigging with Bentley.
Can you believe it? That
What?
some little hedgehog friends, they are so impassioned by this community. Not only do they want to sell T-shirts, not only do they want to hand out flyers for our podcast,
Yeah.
they also want to come along and hang out
Gig.
with Bentley Jones and start gigging. These hedgehogs have a better CV than me at this point. It's crazy what they've got up to. And they've only been working with us for a couple of months, really. It's
Amazing.
crazy what they've got up to this year.
Amazing. So, because this event is in collaboration with Raku Events and SonicCon UK, we will be taking the statues with us to the gig, which is going to be quite funny because obviously on the Saturday of that same day, they are going to be exhibiting with us at MegaCon. And then as soon as that announcement goes, ladies and gentlemen, the show is closed for today. We'll see you tomorrow. You, me, and Rob will be grabbing a hedgehog and running out the door and hoping that security does not say anything about it.
If you see 3 crazed men running around with hedgehogs around
You know
Birmingham
why.
late in the evening, that's why.
Yes.
We will be
Because we
testing
need
to
to
see
get
if we can run as fast as Sonic.
Basically, forget Bentley, obviously. If you want to meet the hedgehogs, they're going to be at the gig.
Yes.
That is your real motivation to go to this gig. Not the amazing music, not the charismatic singer who's an absolute legend. The 3 statues. Or 2 statues, sorry.
Exactly. That's why else. That's the
Why
reason I
else?
would want to go. Come for the hedgehogs. Stay for the amazing performances that you'll be featuring. and
Exactly,
enjoying
exactly.
all day.
Because Bentley is not performing on their own.
No.
There's supporting acts as well.
Yes,
I'm very
now,
excited about.
The final lineup is to be fully confirmed, but we know we have Sarah, who's a very talented musician. We have Reeton Boy, who, if you went to SonicCon, you may have seen them perform live on the main stage, and they have performed at many other Sonic events as well. So they're coming along as well, so that you'll get to hear their music as well. I think it's really interesting, and I quite enjoy that. This Sonic community is filled with so many talented people. It's not just me carrying it. There's actually a lot of talented people in that community, and it's nice that opportunities like this give them a proper platform to share that with people who genuinely appreciate what they're putting out. So I'm very hyped for it.
Likewise. But talking about being hyped, I heard little whispers in the Convention Creatives office that we might be I don't know, there might be things that you want to disclose or maybe share about our presence there.
So what I will say, and I will also add a disclaimer, this might fully not happen, so just but there might. Who knows? The convention creators would very much love to be there to cover it, as well as all the other events we cover. So you never know what wonderful things you might be there to see. So keep an eye out for that. But also, regardless, there is a high chance that one of these hosts will appear on stage during the gig. So, in one form or another, who knows? Yes.
Hurrah. I don't know. I'm surprised. This is genuine, like, what the fuck is he actually talking about? What? And now there's a thing. Okay, I'm excited. I don't know what I'm waiting for, but I'm excited. Well, there's that. Is there more?
You know what? I think you go to the con, you have a great time, but you want to get there from the con.
Oh, I forgot.
How do we get there?
I forgot that. Oh no! See, I don't drive or use public transport, so I just snap my fingers and I hope that someone takes me. But for those people who are actually adults and independent, Jay, can you let them know how to get from MegaCon?
For all of you independent adults who can't I Dream of Jeannie wiggle your nose and just appear there.
Also, you showing your age mentioning I Dream of Jeannie is Jimmy.
I've already said I'm approaching 50, all right? I was there when it was filmed, I'm so old, you know? Back when it was in black and white. It was I Dream of Jamie. And if, however, you are not one of those magical 50s sitcom heroes, then what you can do is use public transport if you happen to be at MegaCon. Luckily, the NEC is very close to Birmingham International train station.
Yes.
So all you need to do, it's so straightforward, you need to get to that train station and get on your butt to literally, there's I think 4 different train lines that literally take this journey, but you just need to get on there and literally take a 10-minute ride up to Birmingham New Street. So you get on at Birmingham International, you get off at Birmingham New Street. You don't need to change. You have to change trains. It's literally a 10-minute non-stop journey. You get there, get off, and it's about a 15-minute walk from the train station. So actually, if you happen to be leaving to head to the event, it's surprisingly straightforward. No having to get random trains, catch different buses, just hop on the train, short walk, and you're there. Which I'm very relieved about. I'm very relieved.
That is exciting. That is very exciting.
There is no excuse if you're attending the con on the day. We expect to see you there. And I know some of you people out there are planning to attend the gig and then go to con on Sunday. So I'm looking forward to how many hungover faces I see on Sunday at MegaCon.
Yes. And the bonus is you get to be at a gig with us. You can hang out with us. We can have a little sway and a jig.
Just a little sway and a
little
jig.
And have a chuckle and have a drink and have a laugh at an after party. It is the first time that the convention creatives go to an after party. So drink responsibly, but YOLO.
I'm genuinely really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I am too. I have been since it's been in the Pipeworks with Raku Events talking about it to us initially. And actually, you were the first one to find out about this directly from Bentley during podcast episode on the Opinion Zone, which honestly feels like a lifetime ago.
It does.
It was literally 3 months.
It was literally 3 months ago.
It feels like I was 5 years younger. But 3 months ago.
I felt 5 years younger 3 months ago. It was so interesting because we did the podcast and me and Bennett were just chatting offline and stuff, before recording or after recording, I don't remember. And he was like, "Oh yeah, you've been helping out with Sonicon with Raku eventually, yeah? So that's good to know because we need your help with the event they're doing with me." And I was like, "Excuse me."
A bit too say.
Could you elaborate? And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm doing a concert. Did they not tell you?" And I was like, "I don't think it was their place to. I'm very glad you told me though." So thank you very much. I would take that information. I kept it very quiet. I didn't say anything, like a good little boy there.
You said you did.
And so it's been funny how we've gone from there to it's literally happening in a week.
It's so exciting. It's so exciting. I'm always amazed by how Jake and Kay and Raku Events just go with these micro ideas and create these stupendous events for us to attend, to have an amazing time. And genuinely, I can't wait to experiencing it. It's just going to be a lot of fun. But talking about random excitement and fun and what the actual fuck, right? This week, we have had, or last week, I don't know, time just doesn't go by properly in my universe. We've had an Instagram reel go wild out of nowhere. It was the most throwaway social media post ever.
Listen, good sir. How dare you suggest that anything I put out on our socials is throwaway and not months of planning, an
Throw
organization?
away. Throw away post of Wicked that you earwormed into my brain. Half my day is me going unlimited. Fuck's sake. Right? And this post has traveled around the world. It's crazy.
It
It's
has
crazy that
traveled.
it has nothing to do
Yeah,
with the podcast.
yeah.
It's crazy.
It had everything to do with the podcast. No, it's so crazy because we just were. You know how it is. You're scrolling through TikTok and you go, "Oh, that's funny and relatable." That's something
Mood.
that could be funny and relatable to us because actually, I have. If I could tell you guys listening how much money I spent at SonicCon, you would be very upset with me. Like, it's very easy to be like, "Oh, I want everything. Everything's so good. Okay, I'll just get it."
Everything.
Everything. It took like 3 minutes, maybe less, to put it online. I thought this will be fun. Just put it out into the world because there'll be some people who attend cons who go, "That is me," and it turns out it wasn't just me. It was over 150,000 people.
It's
I
crazy.
yeah, yeah, relatable content. It's insane.
It's crazy. And I would say that if you merged the amount of people that saw it on TikTok and Instagram, it should be almost near 200,000 at this point, which is crazy. Crazy. It's hilarious
Yeah,
how social media
yeah,
works. The things that you do quickly and last minute sometimes blow up into the most unexpected thing,
yeah,
which is a reflection of creativity in general. When you
yeah.
don't overthink what you're making and you just flow with it and just, make a little thing and throw it out in the world, it has a bigger chance of success sometimes. So never diminish what you're making. Now, after this episode, I need you to make more memes because this is clearly our way to success. Thank you. Now let's go back to talking MegaCon, shall we?
Yes. All the things happening in Birmingham. So
Yes.
much.
So you've been to MegaCon London.
Yes.
You've been to Animanga Pop,
Yes.
and now you're going to MegaCon Birmingham.
Yes.
What are you looking forward to the most? With this natural progression of events that you've done, what are you looking forward to the most at MegaCon Birmingham?
There's two things I think I'm most looking forward to, which is one, taking on this evolution of how we are going to cover events. I think the last event I covered, I really enjoyed doing, and I think was a really good template to what you can expect from us. And you guys have seemed to have received it really well. So I'm more than happy to make more of that because it's fun. And I think I'm just fully embracing the fact that half the time I don't know what I'm doing, and it seems to make quite good content. So we're embracing that. We're embracing the craziness of it all, and
We like the
we're
chaos.
elevating that as well. Like, I'm gonna have like proper microphones and everything this time. Like, I'm not gonna. Oh, it's gonna be amazing. So that I'm quite looking forward to, just seeing how does that translate into a much larger venue, and what does that what opportunities does that allow for us. So that I'm excited for. The other thing I'm quite excited for is this will be the first time for me that I will be going to an event and actually reuniting with like the artists I saw previously, and like see how they're doing,
Yeah.
and like what's new for them and what have they got this time and stuff. Because obviously MegaCon, the first one, was a lot of me introducing myself, meeting these people for the first time. I had built good friendships with these people online since and stuff, and we interacted. So it'll be nice to actually. I'm really looking forward to that. Being like, oh, look what you've got. Oh, you're here. You're
Nice.
here.
Nice.
And
We like that.
especially the idea of there are people I met at Animanga Pop who were very much like, as I affectionately did, they're my little babies who I met for my first time at the smaller event, and they're doing their first MegaCon. I'm very excited to see. Very excited for them. I can't wait. I'm taking notes about. I'm going to find these people, see how they're doing, see what their setup's like.
Yes.
I'm very excited. Very excited.
And I've also pointed out a couple of people on my part that I would like you to visit, and I would like you to feature their work in the coverage of the event. I'm very, very excited. I know that a lot of them are nervous to speak to you, but I've let them know and reassured them that you're more afraid of them than they are of you. So there
I'm like a
is
spider.
not a spider. What? I'm just picturing you with a little head on the spider.
That's what my mum always used to say to me when you're scared of spiders. They're more scared of you than you are of them. Very fair.
Amazing.
What about you, though? What about you? What a- what about you, though? Because that's what I'm enjoying. But you're there. This is your business. This is what you're representing. So, how are you feeling about MegaCon this time round? Is there any expectations you have? What do you think your takings could be? What's going through your head as a trader this time round?
Okay. So there are two sides of this coin, right? The one that has the previous experience with MegaCon Birmingham, and the one who is currently working on MegaCon Birmingham. My previous experience with MegaCon Birmingham was when they started 3 years ago. We had certain expectation based on the fact that this is being run by the people who previously ran MCM. MegaCon Birmingham, maybe you don't know, but this was originally the date of an MCM. And it was an
Okay.
MCM Birmingham in the beginning of the year. This was the MCM that Jake and I first exhibited at. And when Reed Pop bought MCM from the original MCM Expo team, who now run MegaCon, they decided to only keep a very small selection of dates for conventions for MCM. So MegaCon swooped in, took the date, took the venue, as they used to before, and they started running MegaCon. This was the first MegaCon. And we had all the expectation for it to be another MCM. While the actual creation of the convention was nice, it had its own teething issues. Every event does when it's
Yeah.
new. However, the actual money was nowhere close to what we wanted it to be. So we said, never you mind, it's going to be a first year type thing. We'll give it a second year. We're going to see where the second year goes. Second year, the Saturday was a smash hit. It was a home run, hole in one, amazing. The Sunday was dead. It was so dead that it made the Saturday bad.
Yeah.
It was the numbers were not reflective of how the first year was, and we already weren't happy with the first year. Last year, the venue looked immaculate. Everything looked really organized. It did actually feel like that MCM level polish.
Nice.
I enjoyed looking around. I thought it was beautiful. However, the amount of footfall that there was in the main walkway where I was and the takings were not half of the year prior. So somehow it went from its first year being okay, but can be better, to okay, last year was better, to okay, maybe we won't come back. But as an event itself, it is stunning. It is beautiful. There's just that refined look about it as an event itself that I strongly believe in it as an event. I just can't understand why the takings have been progressively worse. This time around, I am hopeful. We have the Hedgehogs, we have the podcast, we have Rob with us. I have literally from my last appearance in Birmingham, which was MCM at the end of last year, more than half of my t-shirts are new since then. So all those people have not seen this type of stuff. Not everyone was at MegaCon London. Yeah, I'm just excited for what the possibility is. And I feel like the fourth time this event is going is the one that I'm probably giving it a chance versus last year. So we will see. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. Do I have expectations? No, because that just leads me to a lot of disappointments generally. But I am hopeful that I will report back and it will be at least as good as London. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. All the fingers crossed. So, a lot happening next weekend.
A lot.
New
A lot.
setups, new lines, new collaborations, thanks to wonderful Rob and Printing Like Rabbits. New aspects of like, oh, we have stuff that we have to take from MegaCon to this other location. We have a whole
And
gig
then
to
after
enjoy.
we've been drinking at
We've
a
got to take them
gig,
back.
we need to take them back. Safely.
Oh,
Yeah.
why have I only just considered the taking it back part?
What do you mean? How would you not consider it? Are you going to live there, Mama Ruse,
No,
with the
obviously,
hedgehog?
It makes perfect sense. But, oh my thoughts, how are we going to get them there? And no point did I think, and how are we going to have a good night and get them back?
Oh no, we need to take them back.
Oh, this... Well, there you go. There's
Sucks.
some content on the way in itself. This is...
It's
looking
so
forward-
interesting.
That's going to
Oh,
be an adventure. I can't wait.
honestly, everyone who is watching the footage, please let me know the timestamp of when you see it in his eyes, the penny dropping. It's like, oh, timestamp it and lol. F's in the chat.
How about...
Yeah.
While usual, take me aside and explain to me the basics of simple logistics of things. We go for a quick break and then come back for our last segment.
Can I see you back here for a second?
Yeah.
Listen up, Sonic fans. Tickets are now available for Absolution, the ultimate Sonic the Hedgehog concert and celebration of my artist anniversary and my 40th birthday on the 29th of March in Birmingham. This unforgettable night will bring all you Sonic fans together to commemorate with music, memories, and magic that you won't want to miss. Get your tickets now at BentleyJones.com. Let's make history and let's find our Absolution. Limited spots available, so grab your tickets now.
And we're back. Last segment of the podcast. We are here. We have discussed Birmingham and all the crazy things that are happening
Yes.
within it. And now it is time to get to the segment we all know and love, the bit where we talk about the things that mean a lot to us, the things where we have to choose things. And a new-ish segment where we are looking for you guys to ask us the questions, the probing questions. It could be about something we've discussed, whether you agree or disagree. It could be about just something to do with either of the worlds that we live in. Ask us anything. We would love to answer and talk to you about it. You may have seen the last episode that we introduced the delightful Coop, our best mate, Coop, the carrier pigeon. And he would love to deliver us post. But we need to get post for him to deliver. So, if you
Coop's
are
bag is empty.
Exactly. Sad pigeon. He's actually doing full employment right now. He's stopped his postal strike. He's back in action. So he needs mail to deliver. If you are on Instagram, if you are on TikTok, you will find that in the last few days, a post has come up with the delightful Coop in. Head that. Just look for the pigeon on our grid and comment whatever is on your mind. Any questions you want to ask. You will be shared with us. The best ones will get to be aired out on the show, and we will discuss them and chat them. And we'll even give you a little plug for your account as well in the process, if you want to. Of course, you can reach out to us via any of our other social platforms as well. As long as you say, "Oh, I have a question. I'd like to ask this." Wherever you can get hold of us, we will keep an eye on. We keep an eye on all channels. So feel free to reach us out from whatever is easiest for you. Plus, in the long term, we do plan on having an option for you to reach out to us through the website directly. That is going to be coming soon. But in the meantime, find us on any social, on so many socials, and just ask those burning questions. And then we will see what Coop chooses is worthy to be delivered to us. So please do reach out.
We do.
In the meantime, while we wait for post, we should probably discuss what's been on our hyperfixation this week.
Yes.
I know what yours is, because I think out of all... this could be out of all the hyperfixations we've done. This is the hyperfixation that is genuinely a hyperfixation. I would love for you to
It's
share it
crazy.
with the audience.
It's crazy. I have been dreaming about it. When we were in Glasgow for PowerCon, I couldn't go to sleep because all I could think about is this. I was simulating this in my brain while in bed, trying to sleep before the con. Crazy, absolutely crazy. And it is a game that I am playing, and it is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which is very reminiscent of Skyrim. I was obsessed with Skyrim, and this gives me a lot of the same feels and vibes. Only I feel like the story is a little bit more realistic, and not in the terms of there's no magic and things like that. It's just the story, I feel, is a little bit more well-rounded, and it has a little bit more impact. It's definitely more brutal, and it's just very tense in its own way. I have spent many hours on this now. Any moment that I am not working, which is not a lot, but any moment that I'm not working, I am dedicating to this game, and I don't think I've like done 10% of the story yet, which is crazy. But I'm very excited for it. If you like historic events set in Europe with actual things that happened that you can still go visit today on a little holiday, feel free to check out Kingdom Come 2 Deliverance 2. It's a very long ass name, but it is great. I love it. Vibe.
It is a vibe. Please appreciate it's all he's been talking about. When he's not been playing it, he's like, all I can think about is, when am I playing it again? It has been
100%.
literally the most fixated thing I've ever seen you fixate on. It is
the biggest motivation to get shit done right now is if I get this done properly, not just do it, because I don't like doing that. If it is done properly, but quickly, I get to play. So any like dilly-dallying, any of that ADHD flightiness that I'm like, usually start one task, end up doing another 10. No, do what you have to do because you're going to play the game if you finish. Quick. That is how we are managing ADHD this week through Kingdom Come.
It's a very different hyperfixation than I do this week. Because my hyperfixation, we have actually already talked about it, but my hyperfixation this week is more so that it has been planted in my brain so much that when I close my eyes, it's all I see and hear. And that is unlimited. This is one of those upsetting fixations I've had. Because for those of you who run social media will appreciate this, right? It is very nice when people reshare your content to their stories. And I, as an effort, I like to react to every single time someone does that. Every single time. Now, you may have heard earlier that we discussed that randomly, it has over 100,000 views on Instagram alone, okay? And 50,000 plus growing on TikTok, right? So that's a lot of shares every day since it's come out. It hasn't let down. I look today, just as many. Every hour, just more and more and more. And I'm hearting them, sometimes typing a little reply. But it does mean, because I'm just flicking through, I'm hearing the first line of that song on a loop all day. I don't even hear the second time she says unlimited. I just hear unlimited, and then and then it's that. So now I'm like doing the dishes and I'll just hear that word as if there's like a ghost behind me, and I'm like, who said that? Just Cynthia, in my head.
Cynthia's haunting you.
Cynthia has planted her one word into my brain. I feel like, you know how like the Winter Soldier is triggered by certain words. I feel like
are you the gay Winter Soldier?
yes. I'm more a festive soldier. So I feel like if I hear the word unlimited sung in the right
You
pitch,
just start spending
something will
money.
just trigger. Yeah. If anyone at MegaCon just comes up to me and just sings the first line and just sings Unlimited at me, I don't know what will happen. We'll find out. Test it and find out. When I tell you, like, what was such a silly joke and just something I thought was quite funny is now in my head. Like, even today, I was walking downstairs and just started singing that line. Just with
the
no
one.
context. And I got to the bottom of the stairs like, what am I doing? What is wrong with me? So it has become a hyperfixation that has been forced upon me, I will say. And
Brainwashing, basically.
At
is
the
what we're
rate
doing.
that everyone's enjoying and sharing it, it might be for some time to come. We shall see. We'll see if it ever
Worth it.
trails off.
The brainwashing is worth it. Because you're worth it.
It's facts. So those are the things that our brain is very much fixated on right now. But it does mean that we've come to the point where you could have to choose between something and another thing and decide which one are you going to keep forever and which one are you going to I'm in a loop. I'm in a mental loop. Are you going to kick off the edge of a cliff?
Yes.
Craziest cliff. One day, I'm going to look it down. I'm actually going to see what's at the bottom of this cliff. It's going to be a sight to behold. This time, we're going to Birmingham. You are stood on the edge of a cliff. And then to your left is... And bear in mind, you're about to go to a con where you'd like to pay rent. So on your left is Metal Sonic, the design. On your right is Hedgehog, one of the designs you've been longing to do for so long.
Yeah.
Which one are you going to keep? The one that has proven very popular, or the one that you are very much fond of? Which one? Which speaks to you more? Which is going forever?
I think purely because it's a new design, and it's actually a design that I believe that will have a nice impact. Mostly because on the first day that we posted it online, we sold a fair few units, which doesn't normally happen with t-shirts. And it didn't actually happen with Metal Sonic, which is a massive surprise. I think in this instance, I would keep the Werehog design, mostly because I think it has potential to also be a good seller while being something fresh and different.
Interesting choice. I think it's a good one. And conveniently, not only are they both on the screen right now, so you can all, if you want, you could decide yourself which one do you like more. You can buy them online from gilbert.com right now. But if you're going to MegaCon Birmingham, they'll both be there for you to purchase. So maybe you can do your own choosing on Lose It. Which design do you prefer? And because you're a lucky customer, you have the brilliant option of being able to choose both and have both of them because they're both amazing. So whichever design you personally prefer, come up and find us at MegaCon and have a look at them because they're both very, very cool. You will want both of them, trust me.
Yeah, we are very excited to see you at MegaCon.
Yeah, we really
it's
are.
going to be a fun weekend packed with a lot of things. There's so much that we didn't even explain or mention or had the chance to say because we don't want these episodes to be like 10 hours long because our friend Stryblob is going to be at our table. There's going to be an Eggman cosplayer with us on the Sunday. Come and take pictures. Come and take pictures with the statues. Come and take pictures with Lucifer and Alastor. If you enjoy our booth, we desperately need you to put a word out there to different conventions, to MegaCon. Let them know that you had fun, you want the convention creatives there, that you want the statues, that you want Alastor and Lucifer. If you see any children running towards them, shoulder check them out of the way. Do a service to us. You know, there's so many fun things you can be doing this weekend. But in the meantime, thanks for listening to my rambles.
And thanks for listening to today's episode. If you enjoyed all of that and you want more, if you're watching on YouTube, you can go right now and press the subscribe button. You can like the video so more people can find it. And you can click the bell. What does the bell do? Not 100% sure. But click it and find out. It does help us out, apparently. If you are listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts and Pocket Casts and podcasting platforms in general, it's very likely there's a review feature on the web page for the site. So go there, rate us 5 stars. If there's an option to write a little comment, do that as well. It costs you nothing, helps us so much. Please do it. Now, if you want to interact with us because you've enjoyed this so much, you want to see, because when I tell you we are continuously posting on our stories, things that we're up to, posting wicked memes, all these sort of things. If you want to be catching up on that, you need to go to our socials. It is at the Con Creatives on all our platforms. And if you're thinking, that's a lot of platforms, how am I going to remember all that? Don't worry, just go to theconcreatives.com, where you'll be able to find not only all our podcasting services, but as well as all our social services, and
social
we have a shop. Social services.
Not a social. Who's taking you away?
Someone needs to. We also have our shop where you can purchase a variety of different things. We have badges, key rings, sweatshirts, stuff. All that really helps support the podcast because, spoiler alert, hosting a podcast, producing a podcast especially, is not free to do so. So it really does help out when you check out. So basically, if you want to know everything that's going on, go to our website. The website is the place to be. In the meantime, until next week, where I will be joined by the wonderful Tom.
Yes.
The wonderful Tom. And we will be discussing the wonderful things that are Eggman, cosplay, his parrot. You'll understand when you see. It's an interesting one. There's a parrot. You'll see.
Of course.
Can't wait. Of course there's a parrot.
God.
So check out Tom and my interview with him and his parrot. Tune in a week's time. We will see you there. We can't wait. And maybe see you on the weekend at striking events. And if not, hopefully see you at MegaCon. If not, hopefully see you at Absolution. We will see you there.
Yes. We'll see you there.
Bye.
Amazing. Bye. Love you, bye.